Hey everybody, Retired Comic here. It's Sunday. I've gotten into the habit of doing these videos on Sunday, and I think that's because Sunday for me is a big transition day. You know, I come off of a weekend, and this is the first time in my career, because I know I'm the retired comic, but I'm still working. It's kind of what this, you know, and let humor work, but that's kind of what these videos are becoming about. But Sunday is a day for me to where I transition from, you know, no work back to work. So it's a real reflective day for me, and that's what this is becoming about. So this is a big weekend. Yesterday the Orioles played the Texas Rangers in the American League Championship Playoff Division Series, whatever it's called, for the first time in, I think it was 11 years. And the amazing thing is, I don't even practically care. I was a big Orioles fan when I was a kid, and I guess that's one of the lessons that I'm learning as well. Things change. Things that were once important are not so important now. And so anyway, they lost the game 3-2 in the ninth inning. Really good game. But then that night, Billy Joel and oh man, I can't think of her name. This is terrible because I really like her. But anyway, there was a Billy Joel concert right after that, and a friend of mine went to both of them, and he spent, I don't know, thousands of dollars to go to both of those things, because it's not like he's got it like that, but they were a priority to him. And while I love those things, they're not that much of a priority to me anymore. And today, the Ravens are playing the Steelers at 1 o'clock, and then the Orioles are playing again at 4 o'clock. So when I lived in Baltimore, this would have been a huge day for me. And like now, I almost don't even care. I go to the Ravens games because, now don't tell anybody this, but I go to the Ravens games because it gives me a chance to hang out with my neighbors and be social. Yeah, I enjoy the games and I root for the Ravens, but I'm not into it like they are. They talk about the trades and the salary caps and where we stand in the division. I just sit there and drink a beer and hang out with my friends. And I have a hard time asking for favors, but I give favors all the time. So I got a little agenda today too. The RV, the Dockmobile, which is no longer the Dockmobile, is in for repairs right now. Actually, I'll pat myself on the back. It's not in for repairs. It's in for preventive maintenance. Something I rarely ever do. But anyway, it's in for repairs, and I sold the truck. If you're watching this, you know I got rid of the truck because I wasn't using it. And so I used the RV and its trailer hitch, and I'm walking down the lane right now to the water, and I'll turn around and show it to you. Oops, it looks like it might be washed out with mud, so I don't know if I'll go all the way, because I got my new Skechers on. That's right, Skechers, old man shoes. Wearing my Costco pants, my Duluth underwear. It's the 55 plus uniform. Anyway, I lost my train of thought, but I'm hoping at the game my neighbor will let me borrow his truck, and you know, it'll just come up. He'll ask me when you're pulling your boat, and you know, I know where it'll end, but that way I won't have to ask. A little passive aggressive, but I'd do anything for them, and they'll do anything for me if I just ask, but I never ask. Maybe it's a caregiver thing in me. But so I've been so I had my 55th birthday about 6 years ago, as you know, and life changes. Everybody's talking about retirement, and I get that asked of me everywhere I go. I'm 61, if you can't do the math there. Well, I'll be 61 in about 3 weeks. And people are always talking to me about retirement. When are you going to retire? When are you going to retire? And they talk about it like it's all or nothing. And nothing is all or nothing. I don't know if that's grammatically correct to say, but it's not all or nothing. You're going to always continue to work. So I'll tell you a little story. About 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago actually, literally 2 years ago in a week, give or take, I was the CEO, executive director, or whatever you want to call it, of a large retirement community. with wealthy people. I was a king on the campus. I made a lot of money, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think that we were talking about important things. We were talking about like birds in the garage and where their neighbors park, and string beans and feral cats in dumpsters. And to me, these weren't earth-shattering things for millionaires, but for them it was very important. Just like, you know, these football games are super important to my friends, and they're not to me. Now, I'm not trying to act like some kind of a narcissist here, where if it's not important to me, it's not important. The key is what's important to you. And so I sought a different position, and I was also traveling. I was living away during the week and home on the weekends, and that was just too much of a difference for me. So instead of, and at the time I was just thinking, oh man, how am I ever gonna, you know, make the same money back home, or what am I gonna do? Because I really, you know, I feel like I'm faking it every day, and maybe I can just grind it out for 5 or 6 more years until I can get of age to retire. And so I didn't think of it as all or nothing of work versus retire. I did instead of retire, I said that kind of funky. Instead of thinking of it as a retirement or to retire, I decided to rethink things and repurpose myself. And here's the point. So I took a pay cut, not a huge one, but I got back home. I did something with a little bit less ego, and one could argue a little bit more risk, but I was at a stage in my life where I could afford to take risk because I'd already made the decision to shift. And if you're looking at retirement as all or nothing, you're looking at it as from going, I'm making this, to I'm going to make nothing other than what my security, Social Security or investments bring me. That's a big leap. And when you come from it coming in and healthcare being covered to it nothing coming in and you putting money out for healthcare, or that's a huge shift. And that's like, that makes that all or nothing thing really risky. So if you just can, I forgot to tell you about the lane we were on. But anyway, if you can rethink that, I got very lucky in that I gave up a couple of things. I gave up a little bit of money. I gave up some commute during the week and living away from the home, and my house was starting to fall apart around me. So what I gained was the ability to start working on my home again, and I enjoy doing that. I gave up certain responsibilities and gained others. So just, if I've had jobs, I've had careers, positions where I was more of a figurehead day in and day out than anything else. Like, my presence was needed because I was in a role of leadership, but it wasn't required in the sense that I could do things elsewhere. And it was a job in your head. It was always on your mind 24/7. And if you can just give that up, maybe even be required to be present, but not required to be mentally engaged all the time. If your weekends can become yours, if you can go from 5 days a week to 4 10s, even if you work the same amount of hours, that little bit of shift could be amazing. You can rethink your life, repurpose it, start doing some things. So when this RV gets back to me in the next couple of days, I'm pretty excited because I've got a trip to Louisville coming up where we're going to be working at the Caravan. Johnny and I, Johnny Watson, we're going to be working at the Caravan in Louisville, one of the top 5 comedy clubs in the country. And I can't wait for it. And in my old job, never would have been able to consider it. I wouldn't even be able to consider doing comedy because it maybe was beneath me. So let humor work. A healthy understanding of moments others accept. I had a healthy understanding that I wasn't happy, and I was looking towards retirement as something where I would quit working. Instead, I found something where I enjoy continuing to work. And instead of retiring, instead of thinking of it as all or nothing, try rethinking and repurposing. Let humor work.